in Atlanta at the 2025 SVG College Summit. Brandon Costa from Sports Video Group. Honored to be joined by Jason Barfield from Sam Houston State University. Jason, thanks so much for making the trip and being out here.
Absolutely, enjoying it.
Let's look at what some of the highlights were on campus for all. You guys produce a lot of live events. You got some fantastic programs. For you, when you reflect on the year, what are some of the highlights for you?
Yeah, we did about 70 games this year, which is going to be close to pretty much our high.
Okay.
When I look at the final numbers. I think the big thing for us is we produced a game at NRG Stadium this year.
Oh, nice.
We've played there 14 years, and it's always been done by a packager. This was the first time that we were told, hey, this is your game to produce. So taking my students down to NRG and producing a game, and not only not our facility, but in an NFL facility, that was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun. It's something my kids have always asked, when are we going to get to do a game at NRG? Well, we got to do a game at NRG. They didn't ask after that, if they get to do another one. But no, it went really well.
Not to get too granular, but what was that experience like for you? I mean, it's a mid-major school trying to fill an NFL stadium with your production resources. How'd you prioritize what you were able to do, and what did you ultimately roll out?
We outsourced the cameras in the production truck.
Okay.
So we brought in a group out of Houston to come in and help. They brought us 4 cameras. They brought us some camera ops, but everything else, my students went into the truck and ran replay, graphics,
That's amazing.
TD, director, and so I had about 17 students on that crew that we just kind of blended the two together and made it work.
Very, very cool. You're on a panel here at the conference talking about crossover season, and there's 2 different tracks, one for the power programs, one for the mid-majors. You're in the mid-major one. Crossover season, your school kind of comes from a unique perspective. How do you approach those very crowded times of the years when spring might be overlapping with winter or fall is overlapping with winter, and you have to manage a lot of expectations from various coaches?
It's not easy, and we're kind of fortunate right now. Our setup is limited. I mean, we can only do one event at a time.
Sure.
So, from a scheduling standpoint, I have to sit down and look, okay, what's the one game we're going to do today? And with our conference, we're required to do all men's and women's basketball, and we're required to do football. After that, I can build the schedule around that. So if I've got a basketball game, I just have to tell all my other coaches, this is the priority. We're contractually obligated to do this. So you kind of build around that, and not everybody likes the answers that you give.
Right.
I think we do enough during the year that they're okay with it. Certainly, they all want more, but I think we've steadily kind of increased each year our number of productions. So as long as those numbers keep going up each year, then most everybody's been fine with it.
Sure, and really appreciate you at the end of the year coming out and being a part of this conference. For someone like you, what's the advantage? What do you get out of being able to get off campus and see some of your colleagues from across the country and hopefully learn some things? What are the advantages of an event like this?
Ideas.
Okay.
I mean, I sit in these sessions and it's funny, I may sit down in a session thinking, I don't know if this really applies to me. And then 15 minutes in, I've got my phone out and I'm, I'm texting people on my staff, or I'm just writing out notes. And, the fact my students are probably the ones who hate this the most, that I'm just, I'm hitting them with messages.
Get your brain dumped.
Kind of throughout. And, I'm like, hey, we need to meet. I've got 4 students who are working for me this summer and they're all in the office right now. And I'm like, hey, I'm back on Friday. Let's all get together at 10. And, I've got some ideas of some things I want to do. And so that's the big thing for me. It's just, I understand my limitations. It's seeing what I hear here and see that other people are kind of dealing with a lot of the same limitations, and how do I make that work for what we do.
All right. Well, Jason, we really appreciate you making the trip out, and thanks so much for being a part of the conference and sharing your expertise.
Absolutely.
Always great to see you.
Appreciate you bringing me out.
All right. For more of everything going on here at the 2025 SVG College Summit, just head on over to our website. That's at sportsvideo.org.